Hey guys, we're kind of going to do something a little different. I know usually Tuesday is when we do our flip grid, but I'm actually going to change it and do this article because I want you to use your flip grid tomorrow to respond to the article. So I'll tell you more about that at the end. But I found this article and I wanted to read it to you because it's dealing with how to build your self confidence. And sorry if yesterday it seemed like I was preaching to you guys. I was just really passionate about what I said because confidence is really important to me because I've struggled with confidence. A lot of adults do. And so I just wanted to make sure that you really knew how I felt about it. I was obviously very passionate about it. So I love you guys. And that's why I am that way with you guys because I want you to be confident because you guys are awesome. So this article I'm going to read out loud to you and we're going to kind of talk about it as I go. And then I'll explain what we're going to do tomorrow with the flip grid. So this article is called Building Self-Confidence. And so this is actually a gymnast, Simone Biles, who performs her floor routine for the Olympics. And she does it very confidently. So she's very confident in her skill. They put a lot of hard work and practice into that. So how many times have you hesitated or kept quiet when you knew the answer to a question? Then how did you feel when somebody else gave the right answer and received the praise? So it's actually a big question because I've done that many times where I'm like, I know, but I don't want to say because what if I'm wrong and I look stupid or, whatever. And then somebody else says the same thing and they're like, oh, that was amazing. And I think, well, I thought the same thing, right? So that happens a lot. So think about that. It's not unusual for teens to avoid answering questions in front of others because they're afraid of being wrong. It might help to know that many famous thinkers have suffered from this fear. Sometimes a lack of self-confidence stems merely from a lack of experience. You may not feel so confident about answering questions out loud if it's something you don't do very often. Something isn't something you do very often. You might feel nervous about taking a test or acting in a play for the first time. These feelings will change as you grow and experience more things in life. Sometimes, however, a lack of self-confidence comes from the feelings of insecurity. Sometimes we have negative feelings about ourselves and we bury them deep inside. When we do this, we tend to avoid taking chances. If your lack of self-esteem comes from negative feelings you have about yourself, you're experiencing something perfectly normal and common. Many people feel insecure from time to time, and it's something you can and should change. So we're just saying, like, everybody goes through feeling insecure and feeling self-doubt. Sometimes your lack of confidence will come from the fact that you haven't experienced certain things in life or it's new to you, like giving speeches and things like that. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. Other times it's those negative feelings. Both are very common, but it is something that we need and should learn how to change. So, identifying the cause of your lack of self-confidence. If you have a fear that people will see your perceived weakness, you will find it difficult to assert yourself. There are many reasons why you might feel badly about yourself. It might have to do with your looks, your size, or your perceived intelligence. It may have to do with your past or your family experience. In building self-confidence, your first goal is to develop a realistic understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. You'll have to look inside yourself to discover where and why you feel vulnerable. And so I talked to a lot of you guys. We've talked a lot about my past and how I used to weigh a lot and be really out of shape and really unhealthy. And so a lot of my lack of confidence comes from feeling like I still feel like that. And I'm working on that. And so that's something you need to think about. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your size, if you feel like you're smart or you're not smart, like your lack of like all of that can be fixed because it's all about your mindset of how you feel about yourself. So you want to think the positive about yourself. So face your fear head on. To get started on your self-exploration, go to a quiet and comfortable place and think about the things that make you feel bad about yourself. Once you've identified these things, you'll need to determine what you can do to change them. Perhaps you feel like you could have a healthier lifestyle. Should you change your eating habits or start exercising more? Maybe you don't feel up to speed in one of your classes. Could you read a book about that subject? Any action you take, even the act of thinking about your problems, is a step towards getting it out in the open and eventually healing. So this is a time where I'm going to have you do this, by the way. And I'm going to do it too. But this is a time where you're going to go by yourself and you're going to think about what about myself do I not like? What makes me feel bad about myself? Because those are the things you need to kind of change. Because if it's maybe like for me, I still feel like I'm overweight and need to lose weight. So I've been trying to think about, okay, I need to eat healthier. I need to, go back to my jogging exercise and things like that. So you're going to go to a quiet place and you're going to think about what in my life makes me feel not good about myself, and what are the things I could do to change it? And even just thinking about it starts you in that positive track, right? And so, I mean, it could be anywhere from being healthier, it could be from reading more, it could be from trying new things. I don't know, just whatever, setting goals. Miss Fain's big on setting goals. You all know that. So just think about those things, okay? Now, the other thing you need to do is celebrate your strengths. It's not enough to identify your weakness or your problem areas. You also have great parts of yourself that you need to explore. You can start doing this by making a big list of things you've accomplished and the things you do well, which I made you do yesterday. You're welcome. Do you always make people laugh? Can you organize things or navigate well? Are you especially good at drawing pictures or solving problems or remembering names? These are valuable skills that are useful at school and extracurricular activities that you enjoy. These skills will also serve you later in college and on the job. You probably have many valuable traits waiting to be identified. Once you've taken the steps above, identifying your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses and identifying your strengths will help you start feeling more confident. You decrease your anxiety or your fear and stress by facing your fears. You start liking yourself better and feeling more confident when you celebrate your natural strengths. And so that's something I talked about yesterday, was that I want you to list out your strengths so you can start thinking about them, because we focus so much on like, well, I need to fix this and I need to fix this and I do this bad. When really, we need to focus more on our strengths. And yes, we need to work on our weaknesses, but we need to focus more on our strengths, because that keeps your positive mindset as well. So we did that yesterday, but we will do the weaknesses today. Change your behavior. Psychologists are experts on how people think and feel. They say that we can change our feelings by changing our behavior. For instance, some studies have shown that we become happier if we walk around with a smile on our face. You can speed up your path to increase self-confidence by changing your behavior. For example, if you smile more, it will help you fight off feelings of negativity. If you compliment others on their strengths, you'll find that other people will return the favor and compliment you back. We all like to hear good things about ourselves. So one thing I tried to change, especially like at school and stuff or in the stores, is when I walk around, I try not to look at the ground. I try to like look at people and like just smile and look happy. And even if you're not happy, I always say fake it till you make it. Sometimes you're not in the best mood, but if you smile, it kind of just makes you start to feel better. All of your actions play into your emotions and your feeling and what you start to really believe. So a lot of times being happy is a choice of like, okay, yeah, I've had a rough morning, but I'm choosing to get over it and be happy. So I'm going to smile. I'm going to make eye contact with people. I'm going to hold my head up. I'm going to feel good about myself, right? So use a third person approach. There is an interesting study that shows that there may be a trick to meeting our behavioral goals more quickly. The trick isn't thinking about yourself in the the trick is thinking about yourself in the third person as you evaluate your progress. That means thinking about yourself as if you're talking about someone else. So you have to look at yourself from a different perspective, as if you're looking at a friend, like you're taking all your qualities but you're looking at it as if it were a friend and not yourself. The study measured the progress in two groups of people who were attempting to make a positive change in their lives. The people in the first group were encouraged to think about their progress in the first person and talk about themselves using I. So really reflecting on like the I statements, like I think I'm good at this and I think I'm good at this. The people in the second group were encouraged to think about their progress from an outsider's point of view, using he or she, referring to themselves by their name as another person would. So instead of saying like, I think I'm good at reading, I'd say, oh, she or Amber is good at reading. Interestingly, those who thought about themselves in the third person enjoyed a faster path to improvement. As you go through the process of improving your self-image and self-confidence, try to think of yourself as a separate person. Picture yourself as a stranger who's on a path toward positive change. Be sure to celebrate this person's accomplishments. And so the reason I think that works better is because we're harder on ourselves. Like if somebody asks me to self-critique or self-grade myself, I always am so much harder. Even like ask Mr. Yates. Mr. Yates will come in and like critique me and grade me on my teaching. And he'll ask me to like, okay, I need you to think about and reflect, how do you think you did? And I'm always like, I think I did terrible on this and terrible on this. And he's like, I thought it was amazing. And so a lot of times we're harder on ourselves. So when you think about yourself as an outsider, as if you're grading a friend instead of yourself, or judging a friend instead of yourself, you're more forgiving, you're more accepting. You're like, oh, that really was awesome, right? So maybe you get up there and sing a solo, and if you're like thinking in the first person, you're like, oh, I don't think I really did good. But if you're thinking as if it was a friend, you're like, well, actually, yeah, she did really awesome. And so it just kind of helps separate yourself a little bit and not be so hard on yourself. And so it's something you have to think about with your self-confidence is you have to be forgiving to yourself. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Y'all know I make mistakes all the time, all the time, all the time. So it happens. So just make sure that you're thinking about those things as you go and try to improve your self-confidence. Again, here I am preaching, sorry. So what you're going to do, so today you're just listening. I want you to listen, and I also want you to go and find a quiet place to reflect on. Think about the strengths you gave me and how they were, but then also think about weaknesses. And I don't want you to think a lot. Just think of like a couple, like one or two, right? You don't want to like be super critical of yourself. So think of like one or two things that you really want to change, right? And I want you to think about goals. Like, what goals can I set to change them? So I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'll do it on Flipgrid too to show you what I want tomorrow. But like for me, it's going to be I want to change me being healthier, because especially being at home in quarantine and being like depressed at home by myself, it's missing you guys. I have eaten terrible. I've been lazy. I just haven't done it. And so today I got up and I drank a protein shake, and I had lots of water today, and I went for a jog, which is the first time in forever. So things like that's me making goals towards being better, right? My other thing is I am really bad about not getting out of my comfort zone. Like I really want to do better about getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things, because I'm too scared to try new things. And so I'm trying to kind of put together a list of things like, oh, I want to try this. I want to do this. And just kind of see as things come up, like what are some things that I normally wouldn't do that I'm like, I'm going to try that because I'm tired of being afraid of everything. So I want you to, today, you're going to listen. Again, you should have already listened to this video and followed along with the article. And then you're going to find a place and you're going to think about one or two things that you would want to change about yourself, and what goals, or how could you, what do you need to do to get there to change those things? It could be a short-term goal. It could be something that you could do quickly. It could be something you do over a lifetime, right? It doesn't matter. And then Tuesday, you're going to respond. You're going to go in and watch the Flipgrid that I've done and follow that model. And you're going to respond to the article by telling me, what's your weakness that you want to fix? What's your plan to fix it? How do you feel about your self-confidence? Things like that. So today you're just going to follow along with this video, think on and reflect on those things, and then tomorrow we'll do Flipgrid. So I hope you guys have a good day. I love you, and I really hope this is helping you with reflecting and thinking about yourself in a positive way, because you guys are all awesome, awesome, awesome. So I love you, and have a great day. And if you need anything, you guys know to email me.